the Milwaukee Bucks thought they had struck gold twice. In 2013, they extended their new defensive anchor Larry Sanders for $44 million. A year later, they drafted a skinny kid from Greece named Giannis Antetokounmpo. The vision was clear: Giannis guarding the perimeter, Sanders erasing everything at the rim. Together, they'd terrorize the league. But it never happened. Just 16 months after signing his deal, Larry Sanders was gone. Vanished from the NBA in his prime at 26 years old. No injuries, no career-ending scandal. He just walked away. The headlines painted him as reckless, a drug problem, a hothead after a nightclub fight, even whispers of animal cruelty. But the truth? It flipped everything upside down. Flipped. Larry Sanders was born in 1988 in South Florida, raised by a single mom in a neighborhood where trouble wasn't hard to find. He carried a basketball everywhere, not because he dreamed of the NBA, but because it kept him safe. In his words, "If I didn't have that ball, I probably would have had to attach myself to a gang to protect myself." Ironically, Larry didn't even play organized basketball at first. He was quiet, artsy, and introverted. He loved painting, making music, and escaping into creativity. But when you're 7 feet tall at 15, the world doesn't care about your hobbies. A coach spotted him in high school and basically forced him to try out. Larry made varsity by accident. What started as survival suddenly became a way out. Sanders was raw, but his instincts were special. He had perfect timing on shot blocks, long arms that seemed to reach everywhere, and a natural defensive presence you can't teach. Still, he wasn't on the AAU circuit, didn't attend elite camps, and was a complete unknown to most scouts. Then, a mid-major school, VCU, took a chance. Larry developed fast. By his junior year, he was averaging 14 points, 9 rebounds, and 3 blocks per game. His 7 feet 7 inches wingspan made him one of the most intimidating rim protectors in college basketball. Sports Illustrated called him one of the most exciting players in the NCAA. Think about it. A kid who didn't play until 15, with no elite training, had turned himself into a first-round NBA draft pick in under 5 years. In 2010, the Bucks selected him 15th overall. It was the start of a dream, but the dream came with a cost he wasn't ready for. The league hit him hard. His first 2 seasons were rough: 4 points, 3 rebounds a night, struggling to earn minutes. Off the court, it was even tougher. "I come from nothing, and then you become the one in your community that has everything," he said. "People are supposed to guide you, but instead they become your dependents. You can find yourself in a very vulnerable position." He felt isolated. The anxiety grew. That's when he first tried weed, describing it as medication for his mental health. It dulled the storm in his head, but it also put him on a collision course with the NBA's strict drug testing policy. And yet, just when it looked like he might fade away, everything changed. Year 3, Larry Sanders exploded. He turned into one of the best defensive centers in the league overnight. He averaged a double-double, racked up a triple-double with blocks against Minnesota, and became the anchor of the Bucks' defense. Players shot just 42% at the rim when Sanders was protecting it. Elite numbers. Suddenly, Milwaukee believed they had their centerpiece. In 2013, the front office locked him down with a 4-year, $44 million extension. The general manager praised his work ethic. "Larry has worked hard to put himself in this position. He earned this." It looked like the Bucks had finally found their future, but the glory didn't last. The unraveling began almost immediately. Larry got into a bar fight that left him with a broken thumb, costing him 25 games. He tested positive for THC. His role shrank as Milwaukee drafted Giannis in 2013, another 15th pick. Ironically, the same slot Sanders was taken 3 years earlier. The franchise shifted toward their new Greek experiment. Sanders was no longer the face of the rebuild. On Christmas Eve of 2014, everything boiled over. After a tough stretch of losses, coach Jason Kidd canceled the team's holiday plans to schedule a practice. Sanders snapped, confronted Kidd, and spiraled into a panic attack. He checked himself into a hospital that night. It wasn't just frustration. It was something deeper, something he had been carrying for years. The truth emerged. Sanders was battling severe anxiety and depression. Weed had helped him cope, but by then he was failing tests and under league discipline. Off the court, things looked worse, like when police were called after he left his dogs out in freezing weather. Headlines painted him as unstable, reckless, even dangerous. But behind the noise, he was fighting for stability. After another hospital stay, Sanders faced an impossible choice: return to the NBA and pretend he was fine, or step away and get real help. In February 2015, he shocked the league by walking away, giving back $15 million of guaranteed money. No major injuries, no official suspension, just a 26-year-old starter deciding his life was worth more than the game. Fans didn't understand. Rumors spread. Psycho, addict, quitter. Some said the Bucks had been conned, but Sanders finally broke his silence with a video message. "I'm Larry Sanders. I'm a person. I'm a father. I'm a painter. I'm a musician. And sometimes I play basketball. The decisions are for my family and for my life." In 2015, mental health wasn't an open conversation in pro sports. Dennis Rodman was treated as a sideshow, not as someone in pain. Sanders, in his own way, was one of the first to publicly say, "I need help." And in many ways, he was ahead of his time. The NBA eventually stopped testing for THC. Teams now have psychologists on staff. Players like Kevin Love and DeMar DeRozan openly talk about depression and anxiety. Sanders didn't benefit from any of that, but he set the stage for it. After leaving, he reinvented himself. He launched a production company, a publishing house, even wrote children's books. He got into music, script writing, and started a foundation to help others. On the court, he had brief stints in the Big Three and overseas, but the NBA comeback never really mattered. Because his real legacy wasn't about basketball stats, it was about showing that success isn't just measured by rings or contracts. Sometimes success means choosing your health, your kids, and your peace of mind over everything else. Sanders himself put it best: "I was dying inside. I needed to leave to stay alive. I don't regret that." Larry Sanders never won a ring. He never became Giannis's co-star, but his decision changed how people look at athletes. He proved you can walk away from millions if it means saving yourself. He proved that behind every jersey is a human being. And maybe, just maybe, his legacy is bigger than if he had stayed. Because while trophies collect dust, the lessons he left behind are still helping players today. But if you think Larry's story is shocking, wait until you hear about Michael Beasley. After his NBA career, Beasley lived out of his car for 2 straight years. And how he climbed back from that? That story is even wilder.